Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing my series on doing these amazing isolated vocal tracks, and next up is Axl Rose. Welcome to the jungle. Of course, the band is Guns N' Roses. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe to my channel. That'd be really cool. Don't forget to ring the bell so I can keep new cool videos coming your way. I also have a singing course for you guys that are interested in wanting to learn how to sing. And if you think, oh, that's left for those guys over there that, they're born as singers. No, guys, I wasn't born a singer. Guitar was my first instrument. You can learn how to sing. You can check out my course right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. Where I also have a free singing forum over there. Just bip on over there, see how many people, 20,000 some odd people are over there, all talking about how to get great at singing, and you too can get great at singing. So now, Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle. I remember living in LA at the time when this song came out. I remember seeing them, playing small clubs just before KNAC, a local radio station, did a couple breakout of, what was it? It was... I think it was Paradise City was one of their first singles, if I'm not mistaken. And then boom, the next few months, a couple months later, they're playing the Forum and selling at the Forum. So they broke pretty quickly overnight. And then I remember too, bands like Skid Row warming up for them, and they also broke really quick as a result of warming up for Guns N' Roses too. Not saying they wouldn't have been big and popular on their own, but it was kind of, they all sort of worked together to climb the ladder of success together. So now I've had problems with posting anything from Guns N' Roses. In fact, I got a strike a while back on posting something from them, from their publishing company. I forget what it was. But so I'm hoping that, I can continue to do this stuff without getting harassed and getting blocked or whatever. But I'm going to dive right in, and let's just listen to that famous scream at the beginning of this. Here we go. It's like, it's kind of my take on it, right? And then you got this bit here. Whoops. Right. All right. Now, I'm going to mention something here. I've done a few Guns N' Roses songs as covers. Gabriela Gunchikova, one of my students, has done this one. We also had Kayla Reeves. Both of them are TSO singers. Kayla Reeves did a version of this. I'm going to put all of these in the description for you to check out. So I did Paradise City. Gabriella did Welcome to the Jungle. Kayla Reeves did Welcome to the Jungle. I also did November Rain. I had another one of my students did Out to Get Me. So I got quite a few Guns N' Roses pieces. I'll put them all in the description so you can see how my students have done using this material to prove out the method that I teach to see if it's right for you or not. But anyway, here's Axl. Check it out.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. Honey, we know the names. We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to you? I want to watch you bleed. Welcome to the...
Now, very intense singer. Very, very intense singer. And I know, he's put on a little weight later and, had some vocal issues and stuff. But man, if you ever saw these guys live, their intensity was off the charts. And his vocal intensity was off the charts. Running around like a maniac and being able to sing this stuff live was really tough to do. Some accredit him as having, one of the greatest vocal ranges in all of rock. I don't buy that. But, and some people don't even like his voice because it's very nasally and whiny and it sounds kind of like maybe a buzzsaw kind of going off a few times. But you got to give the guy kudos and credit. They wrote a lot of great songs. Their success is undisputable. And, just the phrasing and the energy and the pocket playing. Now, I'd love to be able to play some of the band in the vocal itself so you could get a flavor. But I fear that if I marry the two together, and I have it up and queued up and ready to go, but I just don't want to get this thing pulled off the internet and get another strike. So I'm hoping that I could just get the vocal and have you hear it. So anyway, so you have a lot of really intense phrasing. Now, a lot of people, when they hear my version of Paradise City, they say, wow, I never knew that those were the lyrics to the song. So I try to under-enunciate a lot of the times too, and I even teach that in my singing course, but he just kind of slurs right through everything, you know. Welcome to the jungle, we got fun and games, we got everything you want, and you know the names of all the people that, right? But if you notice the breath control of a lot of these phrases too, as he's going through it, let's go back and just check this out real quick for a giggle. So check this out. All right, listen to his breath control.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Right here.
We got everything you want. And we know the names. We are the people that can find whatever you may need. If you got the money, honey, we got your disease in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
Did you hear how long those phrases are before he takes a breath? That's one of the things that makes this tune really tough too, is not just the range, but the amount of breath control that's required without feeling like you're going to pass out. Okay, here we go. Let's continue.
Welcome to the jungle. We take it day by day. If you want to joke on the bleed much, the price to pay, and you're a very sexy girl. It's very hard to please. You can taste the bright lights, but you won't get them for free in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Feel my serpentine. I want to hear you scream.
Right? Now, there's also something else about this that I learned too when I was doing some Guns N' Roses stuff, and it kind of reminded me when I did Ozzy. I realized that he's not singing as hard as it sounds like in the track. I wish I could put the band up too so you could hear that's the intensity and the energy of the band that makes it sound like he's really, you know, he's got his Axl thing going, that he's really creating all the energy when in fact the band is creating a good chunk of the energy. He's playing into the energy. Yes, his phrasing is really cool within the band and the energy, but it's not quite as intense as it comes off when you hear it alone by itself. Now, in contrast to that too, I remember I sang November Rain. I don't know if I mentioned that. I'll put that in the description also. That was kind of at a different time of his voice where he was singing a lot lower stuff, and it was a little later in the Guns N' Roses career at that time. So it wasn't anywhere near as intense maybe as this, Welcome to the Jungle or Paradise City. So but Out to Get Me, then that was kind of later too, and that was pretty intense. So, so maybe November Rain was a ballad, and so there was that part of it. But I just remember just the breath control and everything that was involved in this was pretty tough to do, and I remember Gabriella saying the same thing. So let's get to, and then I remember Kayla Reeves saying the same thing about, you know, how much, you had kind of like, welcome to the jungle, we got fun and games, we got everything you want, and you know the names of your people that you love, whatever you may need. Right? Big, long phrases, right? Let's continue. Here we go.
Welcome to the jungle, it gets worse there every day. You learn to live like an animal in the jungle where we live. You gotta hung up for what you see, you'll take it eventually. You can have anything you want, but you better not take it from me. In the jungle, welcome to the jungle, walking bring it to your knees. I'm gonna watch you breathe.
Okay, now, another thing is too, it's kind of tough because some of these stems are not as crystal clear. There's some that are really good and you're able to extract them really clear, and some of these aren't. There's actually quite a bit of effect on his voice, as you can tell. And so there's also some doubling and some other things, but the imaging of it when it's extracted from the music really kind of maybe doesn't give us the best example of just the purest of the vocal. But I've said this in other videos. The cool thing is there's no auto-tune. There's, a lot of these lines you can hear sang contiguously, so he's not just chopping up every single phrase, you know what I mean? Where a lot of people be amazing in the studio and they can't really pull it off live. He pulls it off. He pulled it off live pretty stinking good, man, for a lot of years. So I'm very impressive with that. And then also too, the energy level is really, really consistent. You can hear it. So sometimes if you hear a recording, and maybe you're not very adept at knowing how to look for this, but you will hear a recording and you'll hear the beginning of the song, and then you'll hear kind of a change in the tonal quality of the mic and whatnot. And you can tell it was done on a different day. So they probably went, I didn't like the second half of the tune. I went back in and did it. I don't hear any of that in this stuff. I hear these contiguous, consistent, energetic lines that sound like they were done at one time, and it doesn't sound like they were piecemealed over a couple days or whatever. And I have a lot of respect for that. So that's really cool. Here we go.
When you're high, you never ever want up and down. So down, so down, so down.
Okay, there's a lot of ghosting in the track, unfortunately, because of, again, the way the extraction worked, but let's continue. Cool stuff though, man, really amazing. Like I said, imagine Axl is on that side of the glass right now. You're hearing him for the first time recording this. He has no idea what a smash hit this is gonna be. He has no idea how big Guns N' Roses were. My understanding was back in the day when they're all living in Duffy's, one of the band members' one bedroom apartment or room at the downstairs below their mom's house or whatever it was, I forget. You know, and they were literally courting record labels and not signing deals because the record company kept taking them out to nice dinners and stuff. And then they spent a lot of money, I think, on things other than the recording too when they finally get the money, if you know what I mean. But anyway, Guns N' Roses.
You know where you are? You're in the jungle. You're in the jungle, baby. You're gonna die. In the jungle. Welcome to the jungle.
See about the breath control, right? Laws of jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring me to you? You know, this big long whole phrases without taking a breath and being that high in the range, and yeah, you get a headache after a while doing some of that stuff.
Knees in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Feel my serpentine jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to your knees down in the jungle. Welcome to the jungle. Won't you bring it to you? It's gonna bring you down.
All right, you guys, thank you for joining me for this edition. I have a lot more of these coming your way. And don't forget, man, if you guys are interested in wanting to learn how to sing, again, I have a singing course at Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, and it will really, really, truly help you get to these places of singing if that's an interest of you. And so stick around for my next video.